You're listening to The Foundation of Wellness, a refreshing take on diet and lifestyle. Join me, Marisa Moon, as we tackle modern health with innovative and ancient principles. I'm a certified primal health coach and intermittent fasting instructor at marisamoon.com. What's going on, you guys? It's me, Marisa, and I'm happy to introduce you today to my longtime friend and former collaborative partner, Adrienne Hanover. I asked Adrienne on the podcast today because a lot of you expressed interest in learning about high intensity versus low intensity exercise. I posted a poll inside my Facebook group, The Foundation of Wellness, and I asked which topics leave you stumped and wanting more explanation to help you get clear on a certain topic. And the top request, to my surprise, was high intensity versus low intensity training. And since I'm not a fitness expert or personal trainer, I wanted to bring someone on who's fun to talk to and relatable, but experienced in the fitness industry. Adrienne is no stranger to the fitness world. Having started her career in fitness in 1995 as a personal trainer and a group fitness instructor and fitness nutrition coach, Adrienne is certified with NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine. She's attained her personal training, Corrective Exercise Specialist, Performance Enhancement Specialist, and Fitness Nutrition Specialist certifications as well. She thrives off the positive impact fitness and health has on her students and clients and is always trying to learn new cutting-edge techniques in the fitness world. You can actually go train with Adrienne. She's so high energy and her classes are so much fun. And take those classes if you live in Illinois. She's at the Lifetime Athletic locations in Vernon Hills, Old Orchard, and Northbrook. And by the way, if you want to join our Facebook group, The Foundation of Wellness, you can connect with Adrienne there if you have questions about this episode. It's facebook.com/groups/FOW podcast. Now, before Adrienne moved to the suburbs and before I left to go to Indiana, Adrienne and I worked together on her former weight loss program called My Six Method, or M6N for short. She had incredible results with her clients. She'd hold their hand through a 6-week weight loss challenge designed to help them clean up their diet and lose inches in no time. 6 weeks, right? Well, I was pleased to join her team and teach her challengers about nutrition and cooking. I made a custom e-cookbook to help them get creative in the kitchen and learn how they can make great food while they're still sticking to the M6M guidelines in the program. And I ended up teaching nutrition workshops in person and online to her challengers, and that collaboration is one of the main reasons I had the confidence to become a certified health coach and do this whole career change thing. I owe Adrienne a lot for believing in me at that time because I was so new to the industry and I didn't realize how much I belonged here until I really got my feet wet with her and her team. Now, since then, many of Adrienne's dedicated clients and challengers have been wondering when we're going to collaborate again, and that's why I thought it would be so much fun to bring her on the show today. And I'm going to wrap up this intro now by just reading a quote that serves as a great reminder for us all. Those who think that they don't have time for bodily exercise will sooner or later have to find time for illness. And believe it or not, that quote is from the 1800s. And I was like, hey, I even need this reminder at times. Being self-employed and a new business owner leaves me constantly feeling like I don't have enough time. And exercise, unfortunately, is one of the first things that I drop. It's just my tendency. And even though my diet and my intermittent fasting lifestyle has left me with a body composition that I'm happy with, it's healthy, and it's preserved my hard-earned lean muscle from the past, I know that in my soul, like without exercise or without more consistent daily movement, I'm eventually going to see a decline in my mobility, my muscle mass. I might have more injuries, and I'll probably have less energy as I age. Movement is so important, so it makes me very happy to learn that you wanted to learn more about it. So let's do this thing. Here we go. What up, Adrienne? It is so great to have you here.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, dude, I thought of you immediately when I realized how many people were curious about high intensity versus low intensity exercise. First of all, I knew people would just love seeing us together again. And second of all, you have so many like dedicated followers and you've been in the fitness industry so long and you still are so passionate about it. I just knew you were the right person to ask.
Oh, well, thank you. This is an exciting topic, and there's a lot of misinformation about it. And high intensity versus low intensity, or I like to say high impact versus low impact, because it's really about the impact on your body. But high intensity versus low intensity, they're both very beneficial depending on what your goals are. So, I mean, I can delve in, or if you want to.
Well, I want to know, do you teach both types of classes? What kind of classes do you teach?
Absolutely. I teach everything besides, everything besides cycle, but I'm pretty much, I teach all strength formats. I teach high intensity, kickboxing. We actually have classes called high intensity interval training. And that's the big buzz right now is high intensity interval training, which is kind of, I'm assuming, what people are asking about.
Yeah.
But high intensity interval training is basically the fastest and most efficient way to burn calories. Fat calories and overall calories. But the low intensity is just as important as the high intensity. And that's what a lot of people kind of don't understand. They think they need to be jumping around like bunny rabbits to, get a good fat burn. And that's actually not true. Low intensity cardio, like for instance, walking on an incline treadmill for, a certain amount of time, maybe 45 minutes, will get you in that fat burning zone because you're in a moderate intensity, you're not high impact, you're keeping it low impact, and your body actually uses the main source of energy for that kind of workout is from your fat stores, believe it or not. Where in high intensity, where you're kind of like jump squats and jumping up and down and doing burpees and box jumps and things like that, are meant to be done in shorter amount of times, and you actually pull from your sugar stores. So it's actually they're both very beneficial depending on what your goals are. Low impact or low intensity is, probably more appealing to a lot of people because it's low impact. You're taking care of your joints. You're, not, a lot of people don't like to jump. A lot of people don't want to be jumping around a lot of times. And you know what? The truth of the matter is, like, any activity is great, obviously. Anything you get out there, you start doing something. Well, that's awesome. I encourage anybody to get out and start moving. But you don't necessarily have to jump. And the thing about intensity is intensity is subjective. What might be hard for you might be, easy for somebody else or vice versa, so it's very subjective. So that's why I like to say impact, because impact is not subjective. Impact on the joints is impact on the joints. And the higher the impact, the more intense, obviously. So explosive movements and done for a shorter amount of time, where low impact can be done for a longer amount of time. It's just, they're both very beneficial. And it really just depends on what your overall goals are. You're going to burn calories nonetheless, either way. You burn more calories, yes, through high intensity, obvious reasons. You're working harder, you're putting more force on your body. But low intensity can get you in that fat burning zone even faster. You just have to stay at it a little bit longer, that's all. So it really just comes down.
Do it more often, right?
Yeah, I mean, actually, to be honest, getting a little bit of both is the best, if you can get them both in. But the low intensity is, as I said, a little bit more appealing to a lot of people. Low impact, low intensity, no high impact jumping. Everything's nice and soft on the joints. And you can get a really good burn doing a low impact, low intensity workout. Yes, it does need to be done a little bit longer though. So that's not the downfall if somebody's looking for, something that is going to save them some time. High intensity interval training is, what's going to be the most efficient as far as, calorie and time. Yep.
Yeah, but the low impact, okay, so the low impact, low intensity stuff, let's talk about that for a minute. Because if you're doing it and you don't have an hour to spend, science shows over and over that you can break that up. You just got to try and move more frequently throughout the day, right?
Yep. You can do true high intensity exercise. It's supposed to be done 25 minutes tops. That's including a warm up.
But low intensity, I was talking about.
Low intensity, yeah. Low intensity, you could still do, I would say, minimum 30 minutes at a time. And again, intensity is a subjective thing. So it's really, getting your heart rate, in that 70% range, 60 to 80%. So it's not, of your maximal heart rate. So you're not like, no, it shouldn't be like that ever. But you should be
anaerobic,
right? You should feel like your heart's pumping. You're getting that, that sweat going. You're definitely not just like a little stroll in the park. Although nothing against that, but if you want to get into that fat burning zone, you definitely need to force your body to get that heart rate up just enough to feel that, okay, I'm sweating a little bit more, my heart's beating a little bit more, but I'm like, I can do this. I can talk. I can have a conversation like we're having right now. Somebody who is doing a low intensity, low impact workout, yeah, they should be sweating, and breathing a little bit heavier, but still be able to talk. We call that the talk test. So it's still, comfortable, but not easy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or high intensity is not meant to be done. I mean, I'm talking like a 50-yard sprint as fast as you can go and then walk. No. And then another sprint and then walk. That's what high intensity is. And I like to say high intensity interval training is very much like, I like to use the analogy of being in the city and you're driving a car. And you notice how you use more gas in the city, right? And the reason for that is because you're stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping and starting. So when your car is going and then you brake and then you go and then you brake, it's very much like high intensity interval training. And that's how your body kind of responds to. You're actually using more gas or calories, energy expenditure from doing that stopping, starting, stopping, starting, stopping, starting. So that's what high intensity interval training is. Your heart rate's there, here, here, here. It's like on the gas, brake, on the gas, brake. So you think about in your car, you're using more gas in the city, whereas when they're on the expressway, you're like in the, the low impact and the more of the fat burning zone, but they're for the long ride, right?
Okay.
So that's what I like to explain to my students for an analogy, like, hey, the city, there's a reason why we use more gas, because it requires more energy to start back up. Yeah. And, because we have to start back up, we're going into that burst of energy for high intensity. So that's what high intensity interval training is. And high intensity, nobody's supposed to be working out at a high intensity for a very long period of time. No. So that's really the big difference. But the low intensity, like I said, you need both. They're both very, very important, and it really comes down to how much time somebody has, what their medical history is. If you have bad ankles, bad knees, bad hip, well, yeah, we're not going to recommend high intensity or high impact. Like, again, high intensity to me is subjective, like I said. So, I say high impact because usually high intensity relates to like anything that your feet are coming off the floor, your whole body weight's coming on, and you're landing on 1 or 2 feet at the same time, or hands if you're doing a burpee. Low impact, your both feet are on the floor. It's pretty stable, but you could still get a great burn depending on what it is.
Okay, so it's not all just about calories either, right? Because when you're doing high intensity and you're getting these like up and downs, or you're really pushing your body to the max, isn't there like all these adaptive processes happening in the body? And that's really like where you make those huge changes? Yeah,
well, like I said, it takes a little bit longer to get to either one of these properties within your body. It doesn't happen like that. Like I said, somebody who's a little bit more deconditioned, it might hit them a lot faster. And also you need to work your way up. You can't just come out of the gates. Like if you go on YouTube and you're like, I want to do one of those HIIT workouts. I want to get, that 20-minute fat burning. Oh my gosh, like, whoa. And then they try to attempt it and they're like, oh my God, I just, pulled a hamstring. Or, you definitely need to work your way up to it and, focus on, strength, stability. You can't just jump out of the gates. I don't suggest that for anybody. If you're brand new, start low intensity, low impact, kind of work your way up to it, see what your body can handle. Maybe try that HIIT workout you saw on YouTube. Maybe just do it, 1 time through, not the 3 times through they showed you. Just, work your way up to it. Because, your body everybody's in different fitness levels, and like, I teach group fitness and, I try to teach to everybody and, hey, if this is not your thing, watch, I'm going to show you this. And I notice in all my classes, people do take the other roads because their body's not quite there yet. But what my whole thing is, as long as you're doing it, you're great. And you only know your body, like I say, I don't know your body. I don't know what you're feeling right now. Is it too much for you? Or do you feel like you're unstable? So there's a lot of things that come into it. High intensity workout is not meant for the, really novice athlete. High intensity is more for a conditioned athlete.
More advanced, you're saying?
A little bit more. I mean, somebody who, is not their first rodeo, they've been in the gym for a while and they have a good understanding of what their caps are and where they can take themselves. Some people don't. A lot of people overexert themselves. They get a little excited, like, oh my God, new year, new me, it's brand new year. I'm going to get into the gym. And they just go all out. And it's like, then they're like, oh my God, I'm so sick. I got so nauseous because they just weren't listening to their bodies. And it's really imperative that you listen to your body and say, your body's like, yeah, no, a lot of times people get really dizzy with high intensity exercise because their sugar just drops and they get super lightheaded and super dizzy. I see it all the time. And, it's because they didn't eat properly before, or, they're coming in, off a long night, didn't get any sleep, whatever the case may be. So I don't suggest high intensity training or working out for somebody who's like just getting started. I definitely say like, work your way up to it. Do some low intensity first. Get that, heart a little bit stronger, your cardiovascular stronger, so you can get your VO2, your oxygen consumption up higher, and then kind of get your body into a rhythm like, okay, I can take it up. Oh, I can take it up. Or even if you go to a class, listen to the instructor. They're going to always give you a modification. Take that modification. If they're like, not going to jump, I don't want to jump, don't have to jump. So yeah, that's I guess my number one big rule is with anybody who's coming in. If you're brand new, novice, listen to your body and take it from, A to Z, but at your own pace, because you see something or somebody next to you in the class who's going great and their jump squats are way up in the air, 5 feet in the air, and you're like, I can barely get my toes off the floor. Yeah, that's because you are at your level and you need to do what you need to do and not focus on what that person next to you is doing or that person on YouTube is doing. And then you can get up to that level. Now, somebody who's been working out for a while, the more experienced, advanced athlete, they can take it and kick it in to high gear, but most people are not at that level. That is not, most, and I just say this because I've been in this industry for 24 years, there's only a small percentage of people who are like at that athlete level who are like, but for the most part, average, novice is where most people are kind of coming in, starting off these types of workouts. So
that makes a lot of sense. And in a classroom setting, you have like a totally different experience than you have if somebody was personal training or doing it at home. And I want to actually ask you about that in a couple of scenarios, but I should, while we're talking about the differences between the two, just go over the questions that people wanted to ask you. Yeah. So Renata actually said, what's the different benefits that you get from both high intensity versus low intensity? And I think you explained that pretty well. Let me see if I can recap and you agree. So what I got from you is that the high intensity is more impactful, both in the results in a shorter period of time, but also more impact on your body, your joints, and your cardiovascular system. And so you are going to be doing it in a shorter period of time, but you got to push really hard, which is why some people might not be ready to do that first. You're going to be burning a lot of calories.
That was a good test because actually, I love that you're paying attention to everything I was saying. That's awesome. But yes, the one other thing is that's kind of key is that when you're doing high intensity, your body pulls from the excess sugar stores in your body, where you're doing low intensity, your body is pulling for your excess fat stores. So that's actually a big difference between the two. Both are great to be pulling from, you know.
But high intensity, you probably can't do that often because it is taxing. So, and that's why you have to do it so short because you only have so much glucose stored for energy.
Right. That's what your body's pulling from. Yes, for high intensity. Mm-hmm.
And then low intensity, we didn't really get into too many of the benefits there, but you're in the fat burning zone and you're maximizing your energy usage. Yes. So it actually makes it easier to do more often. It's easier on your joints because it's lower impact, and it gives you a lot of the same benefits, right? But it's just a slower process.
Yeah, it takes a little bit longer. If you're looking, at 20 minutes of HIIT versus 20 minutes of, low impact or moderate impact, low intensity, it's almost twice as many calories that you're going to be burning through HIIT with high intensity. But with HIIT, like I said, you're pulling from sugar and a little bit of fat stores, but overall, you're going to be burning more calories in that short amount of time. It's definitely more efficient. But again, like I said, I don't want to sell it on people like, hey, because you got to be careful, because people get hurt when they're doing HIIT. They just do a little bit too much. So I always say, I teach a class that's all low impact strength training. And that's kind of my whole thing is that I keep you in that fat burning zone. It's moderate to low intensity. There's no jumping. And but it's an hour long class, so it's like, that's when it's doable because it's an hour. It's staying in that low impact and that low intensity range, and you're still getting that same benefit. When you're doing a HIIT type of workout for an hour, it can be quite much, and like I said, that comes back to the elite athlete or somebody who just needs to modify a lot, which is great. But like I said, a true HIIT workout, like a true one, 25 minutes, true. And that's when I'm saying going like you are at the top level, like almost doubling over because you can barely breathe. Like that's what the intensity is, like whatever you can do, 20 seconds at a time, and then boom, low intensity, go to like step touch or a squat or just walk, and then bam, 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 like the analogy I was saying, like speeding in the city and then break and then speeding and breaking. That's kind of like whatever you can do, go for the gusto for that short amount of time and then break. So that is taxing on our body, and not many people can handle that. So
yeah, and longevity wise, it might not even be the best thing. It's just everybody's goals are different, and you're thinking like most of the listeners and the people interacting in this post are wanting to burn fat. I know. Yeah. Like that's what they're all asking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
100%. Yeah. And then you want to optimize your time in the gym. Like Karen asked, okay, I want to know the benefits of both too, but what's the least amount of time needed in the gym to tap into fat burning utilizing either one? She said she's currently doing HIIT, but really has no clue if she's in the fat burning level for the time that she's doing it.
You're going to be burning fat no matter what. With HIIT, you're going to be boom with both. But with a HIIT, it's a little bit more, like I said, you're pulling from that excess sugar store, whatever you have. So you're burning overall more calories with HIIT overall, not necessarily delving into just the fat storage, right? Where low impact, low intensity is pulling from there. It's not pulling from sugars, it's pulling from the fat stores. So that's why low intensity is more appealing to some, because you're staying in that fat burning zone. I know people don't like to say fat burning zone, but really that's what it is.
I like to say that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it takes about 30 minutes, a little bit longer to get into that zone. So it does take a little bit longer.
It's like these are words that people don't really have any like true meaning behind in their vocabulary, but you are using one of two types of fuel, right, Adrienne? Right. You're either using glucose, which is your body's stored carbs, sugar, whatever, or which is the quick burning kind. You're using that in a HIIT training and when you're doing high intensity stuff. But that lower impact stuff, you're using stored body fat, right?
As your main source of energy, yes.
So that's where the fat burning zone idea comes from. Yes. It's not like wishful thinking. It's like when you're in that zone, your body mobilizes stored body fat, breaks it up, and uses it for energy.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, you got it.
That's important to know because a lot of us feel like we're not doing enough. It's so confusing when you are your own, trainer at the gym. You're by yourself. You don't have a personal trainer. You're just trying to do your best. You're lucky you even got there in the first place.
Right.
And then on top of it, you're like, am I even doing the right thing? I don't feel the difference. I don't see the difference. Karen's like, how do I even know I'm in the fat burning zone? Like, how do you even know?
You can go just by perception of how you're feeling, so there's a couple things, it depends. Even if you're doing weight training, you can still get in that fat burning zone and stay there. I don't want to get too detailed, but I can give you just kind of a quick. So if you are working out, let's say you're doing some circuit training with the weights, and, let's say you're doing, today in the gym, your focus is legs and back. Let's just say that's what you're going to do today. That's what your focus is. I'm just speaking hypothetically here. Everybody has got,
You sound like a fitness competitor. I'm going to do legs and back today.
Well, how about we just say we're going to do a mishmash of upper and lower body.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And so in order to get in that, in that fat burning zone is you want to alternate between upper and lower body. This is what we call peripheral heart action training.
Peripheral heart
action training, PHAT, baby.
Oh.
So fat. Yeah, okay. Fat. So
HAT.
So this is just kind of a quick little tutorial what peripheral heart action training is and how you can stay in that fat burning zone just through weight training without doing any high impact. The key is keep it moving. Keep it moving. Your working out doesn't need to be fast, but little to no rest between your upper and your lower body. So for instance, you can just time it. You don't even have to go by repetitions. You can say 30-second squats, 30-second bench press, 30-second alternating lunges, 30-second rows, and just keep going back and forth. But like the transition is quick. So that you're pushing. So basically the idea with PHA training, you're pushing the blood to one side of your body or the other. That's peripheral heart. So So you're not doing compound movements. So you wouldn't be doing like squat to press or lunge to curl, or, upper and lower are completely separated. And the reason for this and how you kind of get your heart into thinking you're doing cardio is because of the blood volume. Your heart is pushing more blood volume to one side of your body or the other. So by focusing on just one side of your body and then going to the other side of the body, your heart's actually forced to pump harder because it's forcing the blood to one side or the other. So in a sense, it's like you're tricking your body into thinking you're doing cardio, like you're on a treadmill, like on that walking incline I was talking about. You're kind of like strutting it on an incline. Your heart's kind of beating like that, but you're not actually on a treadmill. You're doing weight training. So you're actually tricking your body into thinking it. So that's a way that you could do it and just keep it moving. And
for how long?
45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It's
30 seconds without rest for 45 minutes.
You can rest for a second, but like the idea is to kind of keep it moving and then have, like maybe 30-second, 45-second break between the circuits. I don't want to make a whole workout, but this is kind of, to give her an idea. You don't have to, you can go by how you're feeling. If you have a constant little sweat going, right, and you feel like your heart is beaten, but it's like, okay, I can still talk. I'm comfortable. You're never like, but when you're working, you can tell like, I'm getting a good sweat. Yeah. You should be sweating. You should be sweating, because it's muscle endurance. It's high repetition. It's not about, if you're not looking to bodybuild, which a lot of people aren't, but there is a small fraction of people who want to build. That's a whole different beast, right? There's all, you have to do split routines and figure out your repetitions and your rest time and all that stuff. For the most part, most people are wanting to just get their overall fitness, get healthier, burn some fat, work your total body. Boom. This is what I was explaining. So you could do a weight training routine just like that easily. And you can look stuff up online, PHA workouts.
Love that.
Just thinking, working upper, lower, always starting with the largest muscle groups first and kind of catering it down to the small ones. So, legs, back, legs, chest, lunge to biceps, other side to triceps, you could just literally just keep going back and forth and just hitting, one part of your body on the lower half. So either side of the heart. So PHA training.
It makes it easier too. It sounds like you could do this PHAT training and like do that maybe 2-3 times a week if your schedule would allow it. Yeah. And you're really covering so many bases there. You're building and preserving lean muscle, you're burning body fat, and you're increasing mobility, you're balancing out like all of the different, body parts.
Fitness.
Oh, yeah. And you're helping
fitness. Yeah, too.
Perfect.
Yeah. And, it's muscle endurance, cardiovascular fitness, strength endurance, strength. I mean, it's literally everything. And
cool.
I mean, it's like a one-stop shop. I mean, and efficiency is the name of the game. So I always say the equivalent to high intensity for people who are looking for efficient workouts that burn fat is a fat training workout, PHAT, not FHA. It's a fat training workout where you're alternating upper, lower. It's not, I'm not inventing the, wheel here. This is something that's been around for years and years and years.
Oh, cool.
So you can literally, anybody can look it up and read more about it. It's not too hard to find information on it. Yeah.
And I wanted to tell Karen too, something as part of my training as a primal health coach is the Maffetone formula. It's Maffetone. And it's, controversial about which heart rate range you would be in to be fat burning. But the aerobic maximum heart rate range can be calculated by 180 minus your age. And there are some nuances there. But if Karen wants to actually wear a heart rate monitor while she's working out and try and stay around that 180 minus your age heart rate, then she might also know that she's fat burning. Like if she's on the treadmill on an incline, like you suggested. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Sure. Walking on an incline, depending on, again, if your ankles and knees are good to go. Yeah. A high incline, slow walk. You can even lunge on that incline. You can sidestep, just something that's going to get your heart rate up. You're activating glutes, the big muscles in the lower body that are going to obviously get your heart rate up from doing that. So as opposed to just doing, actually it's better for your joints in your lower body to actually go on a slight incline on a treadmill anyway.
Yes, I agree. And there's so many machines obviously these days to choose from. So without the impact, you got those elliptical type things and all kinds of stuff. Well, Nicole in the group asked, is one or the other, high intensity or low intensity, better for building muscle?
So I would have to say, it's hard to say because high intensity is more based off of power. And so because you're using power, I would say high intensity, even though it seems strange and almost, like an oxymoron because you're burning more calories. But low intensity is more strength. You can do more strength, right? But you're not lifting super heavy. So it's kind of like almost apples and oranges because everybody has different types of muscle fibers. The fast twitch and slow twitch, and the fast twitch, responds. It's more for the muscle hypertrophy for building the muscles, with the slower twitches for like muscle endurance. So
this is like a genetic thing you're talking about.
Yeah,
right?
Everybody's predisposed to a different type of muscle fiber type.
Okay.
Fast twitch, slow twitch. So really, it's hard to say what's going to, because some people naturally will just. I've seen it. Women who will do HIIT style workouts or, sprints and things like that because they're actually trying to build their legs, so but other women I've seen will add in sprints running to lean out their legs and explode. So that one is kind of hard to answer because our bodies are made up so differently. It really, it's almost like you have to kind of test it out and see like, hey, would it be, how does my body respond to doing, let's try this, style of working out for 6 to 8 weeks and see what happens, even like take measurements and just see, are these high intensity, the power exercise, like jump squats and things like that. For some women or men, it'll lean out their legs. For others, it might build them. So it's actually interesting because weight training, of course, is known to, help with muscle hypertrophy, but it actually takes a lot to build muscle. Just because you're using weights in your lower body doesn't necessarily mean you're building, like you're making your muscles bigger. There's a big difference between muscle strength and muscle endurance. So when you're doing like a PHA style workout, that's more like a muscle endurance, a little bit of strength, depending on somebody. If somebody's brand new and just starting out, any type of extra weight that you're going to hold on to during your workout is going to make you stronger. It's going to build some muscle there, of course, so there is, your body will start to plateau, and depending on, so that's why I always say it's great to change it up.
Yes.
If your body is getting super, if you realize you're not responding well, or, you just kind of feel, like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm not getting the effect from this workout, switch it up. Go to a low impact or totally different style workout for a little bit, or maybe do one more of the other, if you're doing both throughout the week. There's so many. Because
you must see it all the time where people are trying so hard to get their body or their fitness to the next level. And to do that, they just go to more HIIT classes or they just work out longer. And what's happening there when we stay in that zone too long is, aren't we even capable of breaking down muscle for energy?
So what happens is your body goes into a catabolic state. And so that's not what you want, is when your body, there's a thing called overtraining, right?
Yes.
And so, which I see a lot, and that's when your body gets into a catabolic state and it just literally stops responding and actually kind of does the reverse of what you're trying to do.
Wow.
So your body will start to hold on to more fluid, a little bit more body fat. You start to bloat out, puff out. You might even get, an overuse injury. So you have to be careful. I don't recommend like a ton of HIIT a week, somebody who's just starting out, maybe, once or twice a week for 20 to 30 minutes tops,
I agree.
And I also don't think it should, be really the majority of your workout, just a quick little in and out, but really, the weight training is where it's at. Getting anything that's a little bit more weight bearing, that's going to, there's so many benefits. Besides, obviously, everybody wants the, nice tight body and the aesthetic reasons for it, but, it helps with bone density. And there's just like, it helps with so many things, your stability and, I can go on and on and on. Having more muscle on your body naturally increases your metabolism because it requires more energy to hold on to new muscle mass. That's what I was saying earlier. New muscle, it's hard to actually get. If you ask any bodybuilder, it's building muscle is actually not easy, and a lot of people don't understand that. So don't be afraid to throw some weight around the gym, and
You need enough protein too. Like, how are you going to build new muscle if you don't have all the amino acids?
Yeah, you got to have the protein. You got to have all those things. You got to make sure, and that's your department, making sure you're nurturing that body from the inside out, because otherwise it's just, it's not that it's a lost cause, because obviously any activities I'm going to applaud. But if you're trying to get the most out of your workout, obviously nutrition, which I know you and we only have a couple more minutes. Yeah, we could talk.
You impressed me with that, Adrienne. Okay. I'll tell everybody in the intro, but you impressed me with that. Your program, you're a personal trainer. That is really your lifeblood. But when you were coaching people how to lose weight, it was all about diet. Mm-hmm. And that's part of my training too, is that 80% of your body composition success is determined by how you eat. I mean, you can work out all the time, but if you are still shoveling in useless carbohydrates all the time and you're depending on quick energy, your body will be in that catabolic state. It will be breaking down, and you're not going to see the results that you want. So
I like to say, like, it's like you're doing the mambo, right? And you're going forward and back, right? So like you take one step forward, because you had a great workout, and then boom, you leave the gym and you have Burger King. And you're like, oh, I'm taking 2 steps back. So it's like you're constantly like doing this, right? Yeah. So it's like you're always staying in that, like, not even maintenance. It's just kind of you're not making any progress. And some people are okay with that. Some people, if they are just happy where they're at and they want to, that's fine too. I would say the majority of people are like, you know what, I would like to tighten up. I would like to lean up a little bit. I would be happier if I was like in a smaller size jean. I get that, and that's the name of the game. I mean, if you're trying to lean out, everybody knows it's going to be a little bit more work. Diet is a huge part. Yeah. Diet is a huge part, which, I mean, I know we could talk for another 4 hours about food and what's the right thing to do with that. I'm excited that, people were actually interested about high impact versus
so it was
impact.
The number one thing that they wanted to know. And I was like, well, I could tell you what I've learned, but it's not from experience, and you have all the experience. I figured we should get you on here. And I also want to say quickly before we wrap up what you were just explaining, some people when we're younger, it makes us feel better if we go to the gym because we are eating like crap. So like you psychologically, you tell yourself like you earned it. But there's also science validating this compensation theory where like, the calories that you burn during your exercise end up being compensated for because your brain triggers all these hunger hormones to make you take in more calories because it's just a survival mechanism like built into our DNA. So you're sitting here pushing your ass like all the time throughout the week, like 4 times, 4 HIIT trainings, and then you're eating your face off. And likely it makes you crave crappy carbs instead of making you crave healthy proteins and fats.
Yeah, there's no doubt that once you start working out and getting a regular exercise regimen that your appetite's going to increase. No doubt about that. So and that's when you got to make those choices. And, if you're looking to make changes within your body, okay, it's all about choices. We already know this, it's all about what are you doing to, to fuel your body? What are you using? So that's really what it is, fuel. It's not saying that, hey, you can never have alcohol again, or you can never have pizza again, but it's just moderation, obviously, as you know, and knowing, how your body responds to what things, and I do want to talk about food just a little bit, not necessarily types of food, but if somebody asked me just recently about this, and I do want to reiterate that you don't want to eat too closely to a workout. It's imperative that you give yourself, I always say, about an hour. So you don't want any food in your stomach. It doesn't matter what, especially a HIIT workout, but any kind of workout. And one thing, the main reason for this is because your body's energy is consumed in your stomach and digestion. So you're going to naturally be weaker, sluggish, slower. You're not going to get the full benefits from the workout. So I always tell people never to eat, a larger meal.
I agree.
I mean, you can have like a natural sugar or something like
eat a snack or something to get you through it. Right.
A couple pieces of fruit, whatever, something that's going to give you a little sugar, like before a HIIT workout. Yeah, that's recommended. And then obviously there's a window after you're done working out. You don't want to go longer than 30 minutes post-workout to get some protein in your body.
For building muscle, especially.
For building muscle, yes. Okay. So those are my, I always say wait an hour. Like, let's say you're going to work out at 10 o'clock in the morning.
At least an hour. I would actually suggest more. So
at least. Yes. Yeah. 9 o'clock latest. give yourself that 1 hour because your body needs to digest it. And you never work out on a full stomach. Never, never, never. So
thank you for that. It makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm sure people are going to have a bunch of questions. So if they do, we can invite them to the Facebook group, The Foundation of Wellness. Adrienne's in it now. But where else can they connect with you?
I have an Instagram. It's called AdriFit after twins, all one word.
Okay.
And it's on IG, obviously. It's a newer account. I just made this account postpartum, like in my postpartum months, just going over my journey, having babies, 2 babies at the same time.
Oh my God.
Gaining 85 pounds during the pregnancy and just getting that weight off by the stuff that we're talking about. So
congratulations. It's amazing. Yeah, you're such a great example. So I hope people do follow you. And it was fun to have you on. I know you and I both could always talk for hours. So thanks for being here and taking the time out your busy schedule.
Well, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
So
bye, Adrienne.
Bye.
All right. Thank you for listening. Please share this episode on your social media. I invite you also to reach out to me if you are considering a health coach, someone to motivate you and just inspire you and keep you accountable to overcome certain health challenges and reach your wellness goals. My approach is unique too because I combine strategies from life coaching and health coaching with all of my clients to help you to create systems and find clarity in your daily life and reach your specific wellness goals in a way that makes sense for you. So just go to marisamoon.com/consultation to schedule your free strategy call with me. That way we can just get on a quick call and discuss your goals and you can learn what coaching might look like for you. It's affordable and fun and effective, and private coaching is my favorite thing to do. I just love spending time with you one-on-one. That's why I made it so affordable. And I know what it's like having a coach. I mean, I've had business coaches, ADHD coaches, life coaches, and they're amazing. I want you to have that experience too, especially if something about your weight or your health is just driving you bonkers. When you're ready, come see me. And if you're interested in private coaching at all, even if you're not ready for that consultation yet, you're going to want to get inside my Facebook group called The Foundation of Wellness because I am giving away a free full-length coaching session to 2 individuals inside my Facebook group. Again, that's facebook.com/groups/FOW podcast. I'm doing this for a reason that you're going to be surprised to hear and you'll only learn about in the group. But you have to be in the group to even get the offer and learn why I'm doing this. And hurry because I want to get this offer done by the end of January. So find my Facebook group, The Foundation of Wellness, the same name as this show. That link again is facebook.com/groups/FOW podcast. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye.